भाइयों और बहनों, मुझे दुख है और सुख भी है कहते हुए कि कल प्रार्थना यहाँ नहीं मैं कर सकूंगा।
Gandhi believed that any revolution, if it has to sustain, if it has to lead to something tangible, has to enter into the very lives of everybody who constitutes a nation. India being essentially an agrarian society, the real India, Gandhiji stressed again and again, lives in the 5 to 6 lakhs villages, and unless the living conditions of the villagers are improved, any revolution will fall flat. He knew the Gandhian paradigm of social development was based on economic emancipation, economic improvement, and he firmly believed unless you have enough to feed the starving millions, your revolution will sound hollow. He mentioned again and again. And the importance that he gave to the economic revolution, at the basis of which we had Gandhi's faith that every home should have an additional income. And one of the ways Gandhiji suggested, means Gandhiji suggested, was the introduction of village industries, through which he envisioned that there would come a time when the millions in the rural areas would get some kind of employment.
Village industry par excellence is obviously agriculture, for it provides us with all the articles of food as also the raw material for clothing and shelter. But here industry has a technical meaning. The better word perhaps is handicrafts. It is the decay of handicrafts in our villages that has been the cause of their ruin and made agriculture itself uninteresting and even unprofitable. All grain is produced in the field. Wheat and other grains have to be ground into flour. Paddy has to be husked and made into rice. Pulses have to be broken and the husk removed from the kernel. All these processes in the older days used to be performed in village homes, but now rice, flour and dal mills have largely displaced the dhenki and chakki and have not only caused unemployment but have also reduced the vitamin value of the food to the detriment of our bodily health. The poor villager also copies us. We thus turn wealth into waste, nectar into poison. This is a good example for the proper utilization of agricultural materials and exclusively natural energy resources and human labor for the village industry. Gandhiji further adds, machinery has its place, it has come to stay, but it must not be allowed to displace necessary human labor. An improved plough is a good thing, but if by some chance one man could plough up by some mechanical invention of his the whole of the land of India and control all the agricultural produce, and if the millions had no other occupation, they would starve, and being idle, they would become dunces, as many have already become.
I worked under, when Gandhi was the president of the All India Village Industries Association, and Professor J.C. Kumarappa, the great economist, was the secretary. And I had certain interaction with Gandhiji himself at that time in 46, 47. He always appreciated new technologies to develop as will help the rural economy, not exploitative. Two dimensions he gave. Technology should be such as will not exploit nature, but will be symbiotic to nature's laws. Therefore, he didn't want sugar cane to be used for our sweetening agents as a sugar, but he was in favor of the palm or coconut sap to be converted into sugar, because these are perennial trees, whereas this is an annual grass. All agriculture is annual grasses. All trees are perennial. They take least from the soil and give most to the soil. So whatever helps nature, in all such things he was interested. And secondly, that it should not bring disparity between the humans. Centralized production concentrates financial power in the hands of the few, and then the state has to take it away from them and then distribute. In that, the state becomes very strong. So Gandhi's definition of an appropriate technology was, which is societally just and ecologically sound. So he was very keen that innovativeness, technological advancements, the All India Village Association's research wing, of which I happened to be the head for some time, had an advisory committee in which Sir C.V. Raman, Sir J.C. Bose, Dr. Ackroyd of the Nutrition Research Institute, and all the high scientists of the day were members of the advisory committee. If he was not appreciative of science, why should he have taken all these people?
Gandhiji says, according to me, the economic constitution of India, and for that matter of the world, should be such that no one under it should suffer from want of food, clothing and shelter. In other words, everybody should be able to get sufficient work to enable him to make the two ends meet. And this ideal can be universally realized only if the means of production of the elementary necessities of life remain in the control of the masses. These should be freely available to all as God's air and water. They should not be made a vehicle of traffic for the exploitation of others. Their monopolization would be unjust. The neglect of this simple principle is the cause of the destitution that we witness today, not only in this land, but in other parts of the world too. The idea behind the village industry scheme is that we should look to the villages for the supply of our daily needs, and that when we find that some needs are not so supplied, we should see whether, with a little trouble and organization, they cannot be profitably supplied by the villagers. In estimating the profit, we should think of the villagers, not of ourselves. It may be that, in the initial stages, we might have to pay a little more than the ordinary price and get an inferior article in the bargain. Things will improve If we interest ourselves in the supplier of our needs and insist on his doing better and take the trouble of helping to do better. Gandhiji further adds, I implore you to throw off your inertia, to bestir yourselves to study these elementary facts and live more rational lives and learn how to turn waste into wealth. Gandhiji included milk and its products as an important item in village industries. It necessitates knowledge of dairying and care and scientific breeding of cattle. He even called a national conference for this purpose at Wardha.
जमनालाल बजाज थे उसमें और एक्सपर्ट्स आए, एग्रीकल्चरल इंस्टीट्यूट से मंगाए गए। सर दातार सिंह थे पंजाब में, बहुत प्रसिद्ध थे वो एक्सपर्ट, डेयरी एक्सपर्ट थे, वो आए। और कोई हिगन बॉटम थे इलाहाबाद से आए। एग्रीकल्चरल इंस्टीट्यूट जहाँ थी सब लोग मंगाए गए और डिस्कशन होती रही। और गांधी जी ने जमनालाल को कहा कि तुम एक डेयरी फार्म बनाओ वारदा में, जिससे कि बच्चों को, वारदा के बच्चों को खालिस दूध दे सके। और ये अगर अच्छा बन जाए तो सारे भारत में डेयरी फार्म बनने चाहिए। और कहा कि गाय जो है, ये सोचना कि गाय के लिए पिंजरा पोग बनाने और गाय की पूजा करना है, वो गलत। उन्होंने अपनी भाषण में कहा कि ये जो है ये सारी गलत बात है, ये गाय की सेवा नहीं है। और गाय को खाने को भी काफ़ी देते नहीं हैं। और यही लोग जो गाय का दूध होता है उसमें पानी मिलाते हैं, वो साफ भी नहीं होता। गांधी ने कहा, ये कहते ये गाय की सेवा नहीं है। गाय की सेवा ये है कि किस तरह कैटल ब्रीड इम्प्रूव की जाए, किस तरह से वेटरनरी डॉक्टर रखे जाएँ, अगर गाय बीमार होती है तो उसको देख सकें। और जो गाय जो खेती के लिए गाय के बच्चे हैं, वो कैसे उनको देखा जा सकता है, तो उसमें भी बड़ी एक साइंटिफिक उनका था दृष्टिकोण था गांधी जी का हर एक चीज़ पर।
Our village economy depends on replacing what we spend. Availability of scientific advancements for the development of the poor villagers is also an important factor. Vegetables and fruits are important items of diet and can and should be grown in villages. Pottery has an important role in the development of the village. An earthen fridge can substitute a modern refrigerator and save money and energy. Vegetables required for a small family can be preserved in the simple village fridge for a week. The water poured on the sides of the carrier will keep the inside vegetables cool and fresh. Roof tiles, bricks and other such items needed for rural housing can very well be made by a village potter himself. Their craftsmanship and engineering skill is not at all less than the modern craftsmen in urban areas. A house made by items produced by the village craftsmen is no way inferior to one in the city. The roof of this house, used by Mahatma Gandhi himself, has a beautiful curved path for the rainwater to flow out. It is designed and made by the village potter. Miss Vibha of the Center of Science for Villages demonstrates it.
These are the traditional tiles used by the villages. The only difference is there's a locking system which, if placed, will not allow the tiles to move.
Skilled craftsmen of Indian villages have come forward with very many novel discoveries. Development of villages, labor-oriented culture and an aptitude for a non-violent living all are facing a threat from urbanization.
तो हमें जो सबसे बड़ा बल है, जो धन जो हमारा सबसे बड़ा है, वो हमारा बाहुबल है। अगर इस बाहुबल के धन को हम इस्तेमाल करें तो हम जाने क्या क्या कर सकते हैं। अगर हम इसका ध्यान नहीं रखेंगे और केवल मशीनों पर ही निर्भर करेंगे तो ये हाथ लूले रंगले लुंज पुंज हो जाएंगे ये हाथ। तो इनको सक्रिय रखने के लिए हमें इनका उपयोग करना चाहिए, ये उनकी धारणा थी। और गांव को अच्छे से अच्छा बनाने में इनका उपयोग हो सकता है, ऐसा मैं समझता हूँ। हर जगह लोग शिकायत करते हैं जब बड़े काम हाथ में लेते हैं कि पैसा नहीं है इसके लिए, और कर्जा लेते हैं पैसे के लिए। लेकिन अगर आप इस हाथ के धन को इस्तेमाल करोगे तो इसके लिए ज़्यादा कर्जा नहीं लेना पड़ेगा, ज़्यादा पैसा इसमें नहीं लगेगा, ये खुद धन पैदा करेंगे ये हाथ।
It will be found that there are hundreds of articles which village artisans can easily produce. There are places where raw material is easily available, where tradition still persists of making particular things, and where climatic and other considerations make them indispensable. We have to seek out and encourage all such handicrafts. What is needed is alertness and circumspection, and above all the conviction that in a country like ours, with its vast resources and immense population, largely unemployed, there must and can be found employment for all. At the same time, the workers should get a minimum income to meet their requirements. The ladies working in different units get an average of 20 to 30 rupees per day. Then the challenge is how to adjust your needs as per the income. Here again, simplicity and use of village products are the key. Village industries alone can make a village self-sufficient. Entrepreneurship development programs should be given priority to achieve the goal. And to keep the village industries going, the youth of the village should be attracted to and given proper training. Orientation programs in village industries also should be introduced as a part of the curriculum in educational institutions.
We have to infuse an entrepreneurial spirit into youth, into solving a fundamental problem, and that can lead to reorganizing village into a place of pragmatic comfort. See, the village has to be organized in a way that it can offer much more than what an urban center can offer in terms of education, health, and essential needs. These are lacking, and therefore people are leaving the rural to urban. And the government policies like a city compensatory allowance, somebody living in the city gets more. Why not a person who serves in the village get more? Why not rural compensatory allowance? I think there has to be a change in all the dimensions.
Gandhiji says, exploitation of the poor can be extinguished by removing the ignorance of the poor and teaching them to non-cooperate with their exploiters. That will convert the exploiters also. Ultimately, it will lead to both being equal partners. Taking technological advancements right to the grassroots level for their benefits will definitely make the country prosperous. Let us see how these computer experts in Lady Irwin College, New Delhi, help the poor spinner in the remote village.
What we are doing today is going to help our women in the rural villages both directly and indirectly, because we have a demand for their product and we want to convey that to the rest of the world also. We want to sell it abroad as well as in the Indian market. And through this technology, we can make color variations, adaptation, changes to a particular design very fast. So we can help them to understand the market much better and thus create a demand for their product. So both we and the rural women, we are working together.
Gandhiji said, "Let Khadi be the sun round which all the lesser planets will revolve, and let all those who wish to serve the villages use village products."
बापू ने बात करी थी कॉटेज इंडस्ट्री की। छोटे छोटे उद्योग शुरू करने से, और अलग अलग जगहों पर अलग अलग उद्योग हो सकते हैं, जो भी वहाँ की परिस्थिति को अनुकूल हो, इस तरह से शुरू की जाता है। लेकिन इस तरह का किया जाए तो काफ़ी आर्थिक रूप से वो जगह का विकास, और उसमें महिलाएं अपना योगदान बहुत दे सकती है।
The changing face of the Indian village brightens the future of India. As Gandhiji had envisioned, the village industries can meet our requirements. The Panchayati reforms will add momentum to these changes.
Panchayati framework in a way simplifies the whole thing if you really go in a simple way. For example, even the 29 subjects that have been listed as the prerogative of Panchayat is very enlightening. Almost all the necessary technologies have been listed there, including non-conventional energies, housing technologies, watershed technologies, and the question is whether the Panchayat level capability exists. So that's the first thing we have to attack. We have to create the right type of human resource, the manpower, which can indeed grapple with this real challenge of, at the grassroots level, the technologies and the 29 sectors. The center in the Gandhigram, the Rural Technology Center, for example, is creating graduates with technology, rural technology degree, where, for example, this half a dozen dimensions relevant to rural area, the housing, water supply, sanitation, energy, enterprise, agro-technology, all this is combined into one human being. And when this sort of persons are available, definitely I feel all these sectors could be attacked. But then the scheme agencies have to redefine their equations with the new authority that we have created at the grassroots, the Panchayat authority. The Gram Sabha, which is like a general body, and the Panchayat, Gram Panchayat, which is like an executive body, they become a legal entity to which all these agencies, existing scheme agencies, have to re-relate themselves. That is a fundamental necessity. They can't be working in isolation. They have to culminate, home into this ultimate people's bodies. Definitely there is a role, temporary role for the voluntary agencies. The voluntary agencies in the maybe for 10 to 15 or 20 years to come, they have to play a guiding role, but they are not going to be the ultimate bodies. It will be ultimately the people's body. Each panchayat, the people's organization itself will be the voluntary agency at every panchayat.
The present day panchayats may not be according to the pattern visualized by Gandhiji in every respect, but its spirit is the same, and it has enabled people to have power to plan their future, to elect their representatives, and to conduct their own affairs. In that sense, it has gone a long way in self-reliant development, and it has given a support to parliamentary democracy which other countries do not have.